Coming up in today's Sunrise Smart Start, deliberations will continue this morning in the trial of a man accused of killing 14-year-old Wendy Jerome from 40 years ago. Prosecutors say this defendant, Timothy Williams, raped and killed that 14-year-old girl on Thanksgiving Day back in 1984. As part of the proceedings, and as is his right, Williams took the stand, describing in his defense what he called a consensual relationship with Jerome. He said that he thought she was 16. Williams says he and Jerome had consensual sex. However, during cross-examination, Williams contradicted himself. He also admitted he lied to police when answering the door on the day of his arrest, giving a fake name.
He even admitted on the stand that he knew that they would find his DNA inside of her. You know, I submit that, you know, he knew one day there was going to be a knock at that door, and that knock came on September 9th of 2020.
The jury will pick up its deliberations this morning at 9:30. Stay with News 8 as we continue following the case. Today, a Rochester father will appear in court accused in the death of his baby girl. 22-year-old Dylan Brito will have his deposition today as he is charged with manslaughter and tampering with physical evidence. Back in January, as News 8 reported, police say that Brito fell asleep, failing to keep his drugs away from his 13-month-old daughter. She died after ingesting a mixture of cocaine and fentanyl. He's currently being held without bail. Also in court today, two women charged in the deadly shooting in Rochester, where police say they found the victim, 42-year-old Leonard Davis, dead behind the wheel of a car. This was at the scene of a crash on Congress Avenue back in September of 2022. There was also a woman and a 10-year-old child in the car at the time. Police identified two different suspects, 36-year-old Dominique Glenn and 30-year-old Shaquila Lindsay. Police further saying Glenn shot Davis at a family gathering, fleeing to Atlanta with Lindsay later. Both currently charged with murder and criminal possession of a weapon. They will be in court today for further proceedings at 9:30. The man accused of murdering a 16-year-old girl in Rochester pled not guilty in court to his charges. This is 27-year-old Rain Tapiato, accused of taking Jacara Lopez Moore into a wooded area near Lyle Avenue and shooting her in the head. This was reportedly very shortly after her missing report last August, and her body was not found until 2 months later. Tapiato's next hearing is scheduled for May. We have some scary scenes to share with you out of Greece as this school bus flipped over onto its side, in fact spun out into oncoming traffic. Police say it all started with an SUV driven by an 82-year-old woman who didn't stop apparently at this intersection, thus hitting the bus and causing a domino effect involving two other cars. The bus had 2 students and 3 adults inside. Luckily, police say the injuries here were minor, and they thank everyone who rushed to the aid of those trapped during a busy afternoon commute. One person who lives nearby in the neighborhood explains that accidents at this intersection happen far too often.
My husband ran out and I was in the house and he screamed to me that a bus flipped, so we ran over here. This is actually a pretty common problem around here. This is the busiest intersection. We really need a light here. This happens all the time, and unfortunately this time kids were involved.
Yeah, the accident itself remains under investigation. RPD's SWAT team reportedly responding after a gunpoint robbery in the city. Police tell us this happened on Lake Avenue just around 4:30 yesterday. On arrival, police met with the victim, who says that he was approached by someone who pointed a gun at him, demanding money. Police got the information on the suspect, was reportedly inside of a residence. That is when they called the SWAT team to surround the house. However, after they failed to make contact, law enforcement executed a search warrant. They didn't find anyone inside, reportedly haven't taken anyone into custody. We will keep an eye on this as well. A fiery response in Texas now after the investigator who was hired by the Uvalde City Council delivered his findings in the investigation about that deadly school shooting. The investigator spent more than a year looking into police officers that remained on the city force after that shooting that killed 19 kids and 2 teachers at Robb Elementary School. Officers taking more than an hour, 77 minutes in fact, to confront and kill that shooter. The investigator blamed communication failures, poor training, and a lack of equipment, but at the end of it concluded at the end that police showed level-headed thinking, clearing them of any wrongdoing, claiming they acted in good faith. However, this enraged the family members of those folks who were at the school.
How dare you? You were paid by them, and you just came out and, what was that, a deposition? You said that it was best, that there was no way to go in. It was for their safety. It was not for the safety of children. How dare you?
This report coming in stark contrast to the conclusions of a federal investigation, which found massive failures and that the officers acted without urgency. A criminal investigation into this shooting is also underway. Some of these law enforcement officials have been asked to testify. All right, switching gears here on a bit of a lighter and more delicious note, we've got a sweet new collaboration coming to the Rochester area. Donuts Delight, as well as the Girl Scouts of Western New York, teaming up for this collab, releasing these two cookie-inspired donuts, one chocolate mint, one peanut butter cookie flavored. 50% of all sales will benefit the Girl Scouts of Western New York.
The fact that we can give back anything, we're blessed to be able to do that. You know, like we said many a times, we speak through donut. And people understand the language of food and the culture that we're about. So we use our passion, and we take that passion and we like to give back to the Rochester community and the local community. So it's just another way of giving back, like Donuts Delight always does.
And in such a delicious way. These donuts will only be available for a limited time today through Sunday, or until supplies last, till they run out of cookies. This Sunday, the clocks will spring forward an hour, which that also means you and your kids' sleep schedules could get a bit thrown off. We wanted to take a closer look at that, so Aran Spitzer spoke with some local experts about what this really does to your sleep. She joins us in studio now. Aran.
Yes, a bit thrown off is right. This time change is basically an hour of jet lag where your body thinks it's an hour earlier than it actually is. I spoke with some local doctors who say the best way to get back on track from this feeling is to head to bed a little bit earlier, make sure it's dark and quiet when you're going to sleep, and make sure there's a lot of light when you wake up. Dr. Stephen Schultz, the pediatric health medical director with Rochester Regional Health, explains there can be a few repercussions for tired kids.
If you're not getting a sufficient amount of sleep, you know, as a child, then you're going to be fatigued. And, you know, younger kids, we might see more issues with behaviors. Older kids that are driving, we, you know, might see more difficulty paying attention on the road and those sorts of things, or just difficulty paying attention in class and learning the materials that they're supposed to learn.
This doesn't just affect children, though. It's been documented that there's a surge of fatal car crashes around daylight saving time. Doctors say good sleep hygiene is the best way to acclimate to the time change. For now, Michaela, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Aran. Excellent advice there. Hopefully you're not too sleepy as you're heading out on the roads this morning at 6:55. We have that one accident at North Goodman Street around East Ridge Road. That's actually very close to where the 104 West and East ramps are closed, so hopefully we're keeping an eye on that, being very careful. Here on the west side, things look clear. Our downtown area looking clear as well across all our main thoroughfares, so you've got not much to slow you down this morning, James. Maybe a bit of sun in your eyes, though, as we're finally at sunrise time.
Yeah, you're driving east, you want sunglasses this morning. And just know that next week at this time, we'll have sunrise after 7 a.m.
Again. We just got it.
I know,
back
right? It's like we've done such a good job gaining and then voila, daylight saving time.
Yeah.
But push that clock back this weekend. Today is the day to enjoy over the next few. Numbers around 60 this afternoon. Looking ahead, so tomorrow it's all rain. Wind as well, numbers in the 50s and 40s. And then we swap over. We go from rain to snow overnight into Sunday. Scattered snow showers for a lot of Sunday. But note the temperatures above freezing, so it's tough for anything to stick until we get into that time frame Sunday night into Monday. That 28, that low, should allow for some accumulating snow. Expect a couple inches on the ground by Monday morning.
There you go. Hopefully you didn't put shovels too far out of reach for Monday. Thank you for sharing your morning with us here on News 8 at Sunrise, everyone. We'll be back with another update in 30 minutes.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.